right here where you see where it says A.R.C, ARC. ARC is an acronym that stands for Affinity, Reality, and Communication. Now, the cool thing about this distinction, affinity being love, reality being connectedness to what is actually happening versus what my head is saying about what's happening, and communication being the actual act of communicating, right? Is when there is a decrease in any one, it leads to a decrease in the others. For example, I send Buddy a message. I send Buddy multiple messages. He does not respond. My mind, because of stress, begins to tell me devious things, the proverbial devil on my shoulders, like he doesn't like you anymore, you're not friends, this is the end, it's because of that thing that you said to him that he didn't like in the moment and you didn't address it and apologize for it. Reality goes down. Well, in my experience, affinity went down too. Like, oh, like he doesn't love me, or there's something wrong with our relationship, there's no love. And then what happens is, in most cases, is it leads to a decrease in communication. Well, I'm not connected to reality and I don't feel love, so I'm going to withdraw myself. I'm going to pull back communication. I'm going to hide, and I'm going to wait for the other person to do something, or just wait until it all smoothens out. Problem is that it doesn't typically go like that. And in fact, the more that we stay in unreality, coming to this little 3-point part here, S.T.D, not to be confused with sexually transmitted disease. No, it's not that. Although when I wrote it down, I realized that, well, it could seem that way, but it's not. STD stands for stress, tension, and dis-ease. When I disconnect from reality and I go into my story, my stress goes up. When I am stressed, am I going to have more tension in my body or less tension in my body? I'm going to have more tension. And so because I have more tension in my body, I am now beginning to send signals throughout my body from cell to cell. I'm tapping epigenetic triggers, if you will. I'm tapping epigenetic triggers that are signaling the response for dis-ease to show up in my body. We know well enough by now that a body in chronic stress is invariably increasing its risk for chronic disease and illness. And so when I am, and when we are constantly disconnected from reality, constantly in a state of stress, we are literally moving ourselves into states of unhealth. We are disconnecting from our remembrance of our peace. And so to come back to this original idea that I was mentioning at the top of the video about how we need to stop trying to stop overthinking, it's because when we try to stop overthinking, it usually leads to more overthinking. Because we're trying to resist, we're trying to push it off. But the reality is that we just need to turn towards and embrace the stress or the overthinking and begin to lean in and get curious and ask questions. Which leads me to, okay, so if stress disconnects me from reality and I shouldn't be avoiding overthinking, and when there's a decrease in affinity, reality, and communication, what happens if there's an increase in one of them? Novel thought. If I increase one, I increase all. So for instance, in that case with my buddy, when he finally told me, hey, everything's cool, reality went up, communication went up, and my experience and our felt sense of love and connection went up. Okay, that was really fucking simple.